Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Three Swords Productions. I'm Nathan. This is Steven. And we're here today to show off a little bit of Kinnemon versus Smoker.
Yeah, man. It's a really cool matchup. I think Smoker has been recently really underrepresented in the meta, but we got some regionals coming up. We'll see it pop off.
That's right. We gotta see it in action.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Let's do it.
Alrighty. So from the Kinnemon side, looking for those early searchers, Okiku, Yamatos, and from the Smoker side, you always love a turn two Garp. Otherwise, you're looking for the Kobes or the Kuzans to get on four.
Definitely gonna be looking for some cost reducers as well as Sakizukis are just so powerful against
Yeah.
you. I think a lot of what you're playing is kind of in that five or less range. X Drakes, Yamatos, Okikus. They can all get kind of hit by Kobes and Sakizukis. Kobes are good power stat wise, but the Sakizukis come down at 7k power, and that is where the money is against Kinnemon. You needing two cards to get out of that is going to be pretty brutal. So
Absolutely, it's a very big deal. Also, speaking of Sakazuki's power, Sakazuki's going to hit everything in my deck pretty easily. It struggles a little bit against Odin. You're going to have some help, but even against 7 drops,
yeah,
you can just uh, use your leader ability and Sakazuki it away.
Sakazuki's been my favorite card out of black from set
Yeah,
two.
why is that?
I mean, it's just in other card games, I personally
I
love
see.
removal, and so when Sakazuki comes down, it just feels like that is.
I mean, it's also just a extremely powerful card, so that makes sense.
Well, yeah, but it's there were I wasn't incredibly drawn to keying in Kaido,
I
but
see. Okay.
I don't know, something about Sakazuki. It just looks really cool. That alt art is sweet. The base art looks really nice.
Sure.
It's just a well designed card.
All right. Starting off.
I'm seeing a lot of 2Ks in the black hand as well as
Yes.
we do have the 2 cost Garp, but we are going first, so the mana is a little bit weird.
Yep.
And starting with your turn one Okiku, very
Turn one
strong.
Okiku is the dream most of the time.
And that's going to directly counter the turn one Garp.
Yes.
So we're probably not going to want to, or turn two Garp, we're not going to want to put that down.
Yeah, that would just make it very easy to kill. So
Yeah.
avoid that.
So with our hand being pretty awkward, the best play being the 4 cost Kuzan, which we can't actually play this turn, we're just going to go swing for 5.
And then probably play, I think, Smoker there. Yeah.
Yep. So 3 cost Smoker here is a 4K, and it says when it attacks or while it's attacking, it becomes a 6K if there is a 0 cost on the board.
Yep. So the Kinnemon side can respond a couple ways here. If Yamato's in hand, you can obviously try and make a play towards attacking it. You could also make a play with Okiku to tap it and make a bigger swing on it to try and kill it. Or you could just take a turn and avoid playing things that are going to be easily cost reduced, so it's not actually that much of a threat for this turn, and you can worry about it on a future turn. Since you need something to be a 0 cost on the board. And we see Okiku coming in for 5k across the table, so we have to assume something is going on with dealing with the Smoker. Oh,
Shockwave off life. Yep.
Always
And
nice.
so I had to double take there because the front side of Shockwave does require that it be untapped,
Mm-hmm.
but the trigger does not.
Yeah.
So trigger not saying that. I had to read it twice. But yeah, just being able to pop the Okiku is
Yeah.
such a clutch early play.
Shockwave trigger is one of the best feelings.
Oh yeah,
But
especially against something that's been kind of oppressing the 2 cost Garp in my hand. Now that really opens up the Garp line. If I want to take that, I am holding a lot of cost reducers. So the Garp actually does have some play in this match. It's just I'm a little bit worried about him being able to tap it down.
yeah, I'm always a bit sad when I have to play Garp in these later turns. I usually
Yeah.
just have better cards that I'm trying to force. Yeah, like a Kuzan, you'd rather just have that on the
Right.
table and get your value rolling from that.
5 Dawn is such an awkward Dawn for my hand right now.
Sure.
All right, we're just gonna swing for 6. We do have the 1 cost cards in our hand that are reducers, but they're also serving as 2Ks, and we don't have a lot going on that really cares about the cost. Very light on removal right now. Do have 5 cost Smoker though, so that's gonna gain double attack, and we might see that in action. Also, those cards play around X Drake very nicely.
They do, yeah. All right. Back to the Kinnemon side.
We're going to play
Start
Bonnie.
with Bonnie, do a little searching.
What does the top 5 hold? I see Scratch and Pooh coming right to the. Oh, okay. So maybe Punk Gibson, kind of reconsidering what our defenses are right now. And we're going to
Um,
add a Pooh.
I think grabbing a poo means that you have your Dawn kind of tied up for the next couple turns.
Yeah.
When you wouldn't be able to hold up for Punk Gibson.
It's also Punk Gibson does lose a little bit of steam when you know your opponent has it.
Absolutely.
Although you leave 2 up with green, they basically know that you have Punk
Yeah.
Gibson. And I did see that you did stack the Punk Gibson to the top of the pile, and then you put it on the bottom of the deck. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Good touch there.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
A little bold of you to assume that you're going to hang on to your Bonnie that long.
One can dream.
All right, we're going to 2K out of that attack and play Raizo on the
Raizo
table.
Raizo is always fine. I'm never upset with Raizo on the table. It's another body, fills out the curve a little bit, but
Yeah, the sequencing of Bonnie into Raizo is a little bit lacking. Like obviously you want to play
yes.
Raizo first, then Bonnie, then swing with Raizo, so you don't lose any value. But
You can also activate the Kinnemon ability,
yep,
play your Bonnie, activate the Bonnie, and then play Raizo with the discount still.
yeah,
Since you activated Kinnemon first
yeah.
before with meeting the conditions.
All it
it
requires is you declare the ability
yes.
activated. Yes.
So that would have been a way around that. It would have resulted in probably a 6K attack here. It looks like instead of a 5K attack with the lead, but
It's okay. I mean, I am holding the 2Ks. It is nice to get those 2Ks out of my hand early, though. But Black does have quite a bit of 2Ks.
right. Getting black to discard cards is a way to attack them for sure. When Sakazuki and Kobe and all of these cards that kill things
Yeah.
require a discard to card, it starts to become a cost when your hand size is so low.
So a bit awkward for me. I am making a lot of 6K attacks on you, and at this point, I've made so many 6K attacks that I'm kind of just looking for 2Ks out of your hand.
Sure.
Really. So we're gonna make this a
9K it looks like.
9K. So now we're trying to get 2 2Ks out of your hand and really just pressure you to get the card quality in your hand, the density of cards you can counter with out, so that we can go for a final push where we can establish, Sakazuki or whatever big thing, and then you have a much more difficult time countering out.
I get that.
It's a different line of play than what I normally make, but my hand was just one Dawn off like every turn from
Sure.
the plays that I wanted to make, and I thought, hey, this line of trying to get him out of 2Ks completely is unique, but I think it actually plays with my mana a little bit better than what my hand was originally on. So
Yeah.
that's kind of why we're doing that.
Especially when it's something like attacking down your board right there where you did, and now my Raizo is a bit stranded unless I have a searcher.
Yeah, and it makes the it makes the 4Ks or the base 6Ks that much harder for you to get out of.
Yes.
Okay, we're just gonna block that 5K attack with Borsellino. Borsellino is a 6K on your opponent's turn, and Odin comes down. He did have the Odin and the Toki. It's always a good feel when you can Odin and blocker on the
That's
same turn,
right.
right? Luckily, Smoker is still at 3, so the Odin will not be able to pressure for lethal.
Oh,
And look at
Sakazuki
that,
off the top.
Sakazuki just right on time for the Odin. Feels great. And Kuzan landed last turn, so we are going to be able to swing at you for 5,
Yep.
reduce the Odin down to 4, and play Sakazuki. Now, one of the really cool interactions, and really the reason that Odin is so strong, I'm going to be able to kill the Odin. Okiku will come down to pressure the Borsellino that's already on the table.
That's right. And yeah, I think one of the best things about playing Odin here was my opponent had 6 Dawn, had Kuzan on the table last turn, and didn't play Sakazuki. So I know most of his hand is not Sakazuki. I can feel a bit safe that it's not going to kill it, and instead you ripped it.
Well, you probably don't have a lot of information about my hand. I haven't really played any removal this game besides the one Shockwave I got off of life.
Yeah.
And the deck is chock full, so it's a little unfortunate that I haven't played any yet. But you can probably assume that I have at least one piece of removal.
Sure.
No matter like what form it is, 10-drop Kuzan, 6-drop Sakazuki, 3-drop Kopi, whatever it might be, you can probably assume I have at least one. And with the Kuzan on the table, it can be a little bit intimidating to play the Odin down. Just because now you've turned on every one of those.
Yeah.
And we are going to have a blocker that we can play out. So we're going to discard a just the blocker there, and we're gonna play Don Quixote for 2.
Okie dokie. Yep, and after Odin's dead, we got the Okiku out. So now we are back on the board. Thankfully, Okiku is another creature which helps to keep Raizo in play and drawing the cards when it attacks. Very important.
Yeah, Okiko really pressuring the Borsellino and the Kuzan at the same time. You can very easily go 2 Don on the Okiko, swing on Kuzan, tap Borsellino, and now I'm left blocking with my 2-drop, which is definitely going to die.
Right.
So, if I block with my Borsellino, you do run the risk of me just countering out. So being able to tap the Borsellino and then you choose when you're attacking on it, rather than me getting to choose which attack it is pretty effective. And it looks like you're taking that line exactly.
I think just considering the amount of Dawn to be attached here.
I mean, I really like the 7Ks. It gets, like I said, I am pretty chock full on 2Ks, so you're probably looking to get 2 cards out of my hand here. But once you swing and Borsellino becomes tapped, suddenly I have to consider how many times can he attack my
Yeah.
Kuzan? Is it really worth me losing 2 cards just to have to do it again on the following attack? And we go
at least one pitch out.
Okay, we go 6K on the Kuzan. A bit different, but I assume you just have a different type of play for that.
Yeah, I have a play here which allows me for 8 Dawn to play 1 character to the board. I think that was the line.
And pretty effective too, because at this point you still get the two cards out of my hand. You've still used the Dawn, the same basically, except this also gave you a Raizo attack. So also you can draw a card.
Yep.
I think I still would have personally preferred 2 Dawn on the Okiku, but I'm not playing the Kinnemon side there, so.
I get what you're saying. The Kuzan is scary. I think from my point of view here, getting you to pitch cards is quite good still. Like I said, pressuring hand is a way to play this matchup, and essentially discarding 3 cards and then making you face down another terrifying
second
character.
Odin there, very powerful.
Um,
Definitely the second Odin there is real good. I'm still feeling pretty good with the Kuzan on play. We might be able to give the Odin here the same treatment the first one got. And we draw Borsellino, so that one's going to not line up super well against the Okiku. So now we're going to have to shift tactics a little bit to take down the Okiku so the Borsellino still have some effectiveness.
Right. And I assume you'll be playing to attack down my board here. I think that's one of the most important things.
And we're still considering, do we swing on your lead? Do we swing on your board?
Sure.
It can be real tough, especially staring down the Odin. We really want to go face with the characters that we have, but your board is just, you could really just have enough to kill me.
Yeah.
So we do have to respect the board. And you're down to 4 cards in hand, so it is pretty rough for you to defend your characters.
I can't really. I have to worry about my life here.
Right. But at this point, we have Borsellino, we have Sakazuki, and Kuzan on the board, and you have Odin plus your leader, which is going to be a lot of attacks. We also have the Don Quixote to block. So we're also feeling pretty good. Depending on what we see out of you here, I'm going to come across for 5, expecting you to 1K.
Yep, makes sense.
I was really hoping to get you to 2 life or 1. Can't tell quite where you're at right now.
I think I'm at 2 right now.
Okay. And we are just going to play
Borsellino makes sense.
And we are going to go ahead and tap 5. And this is a bit of a sketchy line that I'm taking here. I do want to tap 5 to play the Smoker so that I can really go for lethal on the following turn. But I'm not quite sure because the card quality on my board is so good and the characters are so dense that I'm not sure exactly what to remove. So I go for the lowest in card quality, which is the 2K blocker. But I do think that the Kuzan probably could have bitten it right there.
It's possible.
Or even the Sakazuki, really.
Your Kuzan makes a lot of your top decks better.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can understand wanting to keep it.
And you can't just X-Drake the Borsellino either. So
yes.
I'm kind of having reasonings behind why I don't want to discard any of those. And the 2-drop just makes the most sense. But at the same time, now you're going to get free reign. I have no hand at all. So you just get to make up your own rules as you attack my board down.
Yeah, I think I have to focus the board here. Otherwise, I'm staring down too many attacks next turn.
I do think I gave away 1 for free there.
That's probably true. So Sakazuki is down. We'll stand it back and
Did cost you 3 to untap.
sure.
You're going to take that line, though. And this one is Kuzan or Borsalino. I think I like Borsalino the most because then you still represent X-Drake. Not that it matters, but
I,
that's kind of where my head was at.
my thought here was I would love to attack with my lead, but your Borsalino can just block it, and then I'm forced stuck behind it. So I think I want the Kuzan dead, so you can't top deck
Mhm.
so well or get things from your life here.
Yeah, and here I'm thinking, do I take the life or do I just free block with the Borsalino? And I kind of want cards in hand. I'm looking for more removal tools, and that's why I lean towards just taking the life there.
I
I am looking for something because you are close to dead, so I'm just
Yes,
looking for that last piece of removal. And it looks like we got Kuzan off the life, so not quite there.
and I assume now you have to start considering swinging with these Borsalinos on your turns here.
Yeah.
So
So we're
that
gonna play Great
Yep,
Eruption and be. So it says one Dawn, draw a card in your main phase, and then you can give a character up to -2.
okay. So the 7 drop is now a 5 drop.
Yeah,
So if the draw was Sakazuki, now we have
a way to kill it.
clean
Yep.
clean answer to
hmm
it.
Plus the leader can make it under 4.
Yep.
Still out of reach for Kobe though, so that one was still offline.
All right. And squaring up our attacks, swinging in for what looks like 11 at
Yeah.
me.
And this is just to get through to put you to 1.
Yep.
Kind of hoping that you do take the damage, but if you wanted to block with your 7 drop, this turn and Paradise, you can't Paradise Waterfall, sorry. If you wanted to block with your 7 drop here, it would cost you too many cards, so I was just basically forcing through 1 damage.
And you did. You got it through. Kuzan comes down, draws another card. Beautiful. And now you're probably sitting back. Attacking with one either leader or character here means it'll just get blocked.
Still pretty light on removal tools, looking at the 1 Sakizuki this game, as well as the 1 Shockwave off life, and did not find anything off the top there either.
Okay, it wasn't blocked, but probably should have been.
Well, that's okay. You went to 1, and you have, you're looking at 2 Borsalinos here, but you are also looking at 4 attackers, so pretty good odds there.
No, I think it's fine. I think it's just a waste of a card when it didn't need to be. That's all. Okay, and now we're just considering our attacks. With 2 life, you need 3 attacks to get through. So I have a total of 4 attacks on board, but he's got 2 blockers.
Yeah.
So trying to figure out the way around this. I believe there is a Yamato in my hand, which is also adding to the, well, I could tap a blocker to try and force my way through here. He could block 1 of them, and then I can get through with 3 of them. But I don't think I have enough Dawn to make that efficiently work, especially with 2 cards in hand, 2 cards in life. If all of those were 2Ks, that'd be enough to stop me here.
Yeah.
So I think the play ultimately comes to stacking yourself up for the following turn. So we
Yeah, and stacking your defenses up for the following turn is absolutely something that is in that 7 drops wheelhouse. Being able to 1 Dawn, swing for 8, then untap it and be ready for even chump blocking if it
Yes.
has to is so powerful. In these, like, we're really tight on board, but we're also really tight on life. These gameplays, very cool. And another chopper in hand. Sorry, another Capone gang in hand.
Oh yes, always Capone's in hand. Always blockers with the Kinnemon deck.
Swing for 8. I am just gonna take that. Found Sakazuki off the top, so
A good card.
we actually do have an angle at killing you now. If the last blocker that you have is the 7 drop, then we're actually in a good spot to
Yep.
take down your life.
And now,
Unfortunately, it's not Kobe. It does still cost 6.
5 with the Kinnemon at face. Thought there was, if he blocks with the Borsalino, I could still open up that Yamato line
Mhm.
to attack 8, and force him to find an answers out of that. But without that, I think we just come in, force some blocks out of the way,
Yeah.
and then play some blockers.
I really like the attack here. It's pretty beefy. It's going to require 3 cards out of my hand in order to counter out. So you're basically saying, hey, You have to block this, and when you do, you're most likely just going to lose your Porcelino,
Yeah.
which reduces the number of attackers that I have on the board. I'm pretty reluctant to do that because I am trying to go for lethal.
Yep.
But yeah, all in all, that was a really good attack. Really nice to see that you didn't put it at 10k, which could be kind of tempting to go 2k or sorry 4k over the Porcelino's power.
Yeah.
Except Porcelino's 9k on or sorry 5k on your turn. So.
Right. Yes. And plays out a number of blockers and just prepares to settle in for one more turn here.
Final turn of the game, and he plays Capone and Killer. Nice.
With Wandon open too, so
Yeah, very
gives you
beefy.
the little bit of a
Paradise
fear that Paradise
Waterfall, yeah.
Waterfall on the 7-drop.
Mhm. Yep. Fortunately, we have Sakazuki, so we're not playing the Paradise Waterfall game. We do have to swing first with Kuzan in order to Sakazuki, which is a really unfortunate way that broke.
Do you could use the hero power. You use
To
hero
make
ability.
to make it 6 cost.
Yeah, because it -1s it. You wouldn't get the additional
Mhm.
buff from it, but you could do it that way. I understand wanting to get the buff because you are trying to swing for lethal here.
And this one's a really complicated turn. We're basically dead if we don't kill you, and killing you is actually pretty tough here, especially with a killer on board drawing a card. It's going to
Yeah.
be another card for you to discard.
Yep.
And we are going to go 7k, make that now a 3 cost, or a 2 cost. I think it's down to 2 cost.
It's on a 3 cost, I think, right now.
Pretty sure Smoker uses its ability
Smoker on Beige.
on the Beige.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. I blocked with Killer here because I wanted to make sure that I was going to be able to draw my card from it while also stopping an attack. If it meant you could Sakazuki, it means you can Sakazuki, but that's Dawn committed there that I no longer have to counter out of.
And discard Kuzan number 3. Not going to need that in this game. To kill the 7-drop. And we're coming across for 7k now. Trying to take you to 0.
I assume I counter out. We saw, yeah, a Poo plus X Drake. And then
X-Drake lining up poorly against the Porcelino this game.
a bit. It didn't look great.
And AK is going to come across for our last attack for the turn.
Block with Beige because it does represent
And
a lot.
that is the concession. With 3 attacks, only 1 blocker, not going to be quite enough. You are down to only two counter cards in your hand and representing 3k worth of counter power.
Yeah.
So it was pretty close. If I was able to get you to 1 in the previous turns like I wanted, I think we would have seen a different game. But just
very possible.
all in all, very powerful. Solid attacks there. Odin giving you like the flexibility to really come across the table, and yeah, just really good Kinnemon cards in the Smoker match.
Yeah, I mean that played out like a Kinnemon dream. I think you play as many bombs as you can while backing them up with blockers, and
Yeah.
hope that's enough to get through. And it seems like 2 Odins plus 1 7-drop is a lot of top end. That's good.
I would say it's the Kinnemon dream for sure. Kinnemon probably goes in that matchup terrified that every card they play is just going to be met with, another body on the table
Yeah.
plus removal at the same time. So usually, if I'm on the Kinnemon side, I would expect to just lose the tempo game all the time. But you started with Okiku, was able to pressure like everything that I had.
Yeah.
Yeah. All in all, pretty solid from the Kinnemon side.
It was also a little bit of a going first, going second debate where you kept being kind of one Dawn off having to attack for 6k.
Right, but I
since you
did-
had to go first.
I was actually pretty happy with my strategy of swinging you for 6 to get 2Ks out for later on in the game. It
Sure.
did actually work out. And at the end of the game, you did still have one 2K counter in your hand, but you also had a ton of blockers, so I never really got to
Absolutely,
pressure you
yes.
to actually spend that. So
The blockers are the big thing.
yeah. All right, guys. Well, that is the end of the game. If you are here, please, drop us a like. Let us know in the comments if we did anything wrong. If you're enjoying the content, there is more in the playlist on the screen. See you in the next one.